Guys, welcome back to Box to Box Football, and we're just gonna have a bit of fun right now. I've been seeing this going all around about controversial takes. I think we seen one West Ham fan had some funny takes talking about Pele wasn't no good, Messi was a pace merchant, and I felt like let's let Box to Box Football get in the fun of everything, and let's have our own controversial takes. Now, me and Jack are going to give you three controversial takes, and guys, you're gonna select who had the best controversial takes, and also at the bottom in the comments, you're going to tell me your controversial takes, guys. Now,
also, if you secretly agree with one of us, we also want to know. Don't hide in the shadows here. Like, we want to hear the support.
Guys, look at me. These takes that I have is no like BS type
We're
of stuff.
not clickbait. We don't do it that way.
I genuinely mean every take that I say. Honestly,
Same.
Honestly, Jack, do you want to go first, or shall I take it?
I'm kind of happy to go first if you want me to.
Go on.
Again, I think a lot of mine. I mean, I know there's only three, but a lot of mine, I think people do already know. But it's just me repeating myself here. I think the European Super League is good for football. I'm for it and I'm pro it. Now, this is probably one of the most controversial, those memes about like knives at your throat kind of thing. But this is probably the one that stands out, which is why it's my number one pick here. Yeah, guys, look, call it upsetting the apple cart. Call it me liking a bit of chaos, whatever, right? Call me being a bit of an anarchist. I don't know. I think the European Super League will be good for football. I think FIFA will get their act together. I think the European elite, if they fail, that will then be good for the sport as well. And I also think that a lot of the arguments against the European Super League are quite weak, generally speaking. People saying, it loses how special the games are and all this kind of stuff. Like, don't tell me every weekend that if the worst game you're going to see is Arsenal versus Milan, you're not pretty pleased that that's your worst case scenario instead of watching Watford against Burnley. So European Super League, pro. I am here for it, and I'm going to stand and die on this hill.
He's been dying on this hill for a long time. Okay.
Yeah, I'm bleeding out.
My first controversial take is that in modern day football, the great Sir Alex Ferguson would be sacked as Manchester United's manager with Man United's current squad. I genuinely do believe that. Why?
Wow.
Not because of we get it. Ferguson's a great coach. He's the greatest Premier League coach of all time. People talk about Pep Guardiola. No. Ferguson is the godfather when it comes to the Premier League. And even when it comes to managers in general, he is. But you look at what Ferguson was built on, and you look at the things that he done as manager. We all remember the David Beckham when he kicked the boot at him, all that sort of stuff. That we all know about the famous hair dryers of him getting at Rooney, Giggs, Nani, even Ronaldo at times. With this current Manchester United squad and the way it's built, if he had a disagreement with a player, I think it would filter down. And I think it would have an effect, and I think it will filter down, and then it will have an effect, and he would go out in a way Mourinho went out, where Pogba said that he lost the players. I can see a thing where the way Ferguson is and how tough he is at certain times could rub the players the wrong way and ultimately lose a dressing room like Manchester United won. And that's not Ferguson's fault. That's just, in my opinion, just shows you how bad the mentality is of that Manchester United dressing room is. And that's personally, that's just my take. And even Cristiano Ronaldo even confirmed it himself. So,
hey James, look, I'm not going to massively disagree with you. The only thing I would say contrary to that is I don't think somebody like Sir Alex Ferguson would let it get that bad. And I would also say that there would be potentially such admiration and respect for the guy if he throws a hairdryer at you. It's the whole thing about being like, oh my God, he threw a hairdryer. Sir Alex Ferguson.
I'm just going to say the greatest player of all time. We're going to get into your Messi and Ronaldo stuff. Cristiano Ronaldo comes into a dressing room, and even he is having problems in saying that certain players don't want his advice.
Right.
So if Cristiano Ronaldo's having problems, again, let's get into that. Man United fans, let me know what you think about that one there. But let's go on to the next one.
So my number 2 pick, and I know this is one that James in particular is not a huge fan of. I want mandatory release clauses in football that are regulated by FIFA, and I want a draft system. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. I want the newest team coming into the league, the team that made it in through the playoffs. I want them to have first dibs at any player they like with an affordability set by FIFA and have that player go to that team. I think it shakes things up like crazy. I think that if you're the player of the year from a previous year, and at any one point, if the release clause value is met, you're on your way down to Newcastle or Watford or Norwich or whatever. I just think that's funny. Seeing Mo Salah play for Norwich, seeing Kevin De Bruyne play for Watford. I think a draft system, we've seen specifically in the NFL, NBA too, we've seen a lot of these kind of middling franchises who just get that one guy, and it turns the whole thing around. I think it would increase competitive balance a great deal in football. I think it would be very, very exciting too to have a draft night. James hates this Americanization of football, and hey, I don't blame him. But I love the shake-up.
First things first, Jack wants the Super League and now he wants a draft system. Jack, we might as well just turn the Premier League and the Champions League to the NFL in like the NBA.
What can I say? Look. In all seriousness,
to be fair, Jack's a little bit American. Jack has a bit of American in him.
Look,
so.
my mum's from California. I've got that blue passport, baby. That's part of my bloodline. But listen, I look at somebody like Joe Burrow with the Cincinnati Bengals this year and what he's been able to do over the last couple of years since he's been drafted to just change the franchise around. I look at going into every single season, there are so many clubs who have no shot at winning the league. None. And I would love that to change.
Okay, so my second take is this one. This one's also going to be another controversial one. As a pure defender, and I'm looking at his defensive capabilities at times, I'm talking positioning, all sorts of stuff, reading the game. Sergio Ramos was not a great defender as an overall defender. Why? Because as many times as we know what Sergio Ramos done for Real Madrid, we know how great he is, we know how clutch he is, and we know how big game performance he is, but there's a fact that he's like, 22, 23 red cards. If you're a defender and you get caught out that many times, that tells me that there is a problem there. People may not look at it like, I get it, like who was the better defender between him over Varane? Ramos was head and shoulders above him, but the amount of times Varane have to bail Sergio Ramos out because Sergio Ramos misread the flight of the ball, or for instance jumped in at a time when he didn't need to and got spun by the striker. How many times have you seen Sergio Ramos with a player going through on goal and like Sergio Ramos is in the wrong position and he makes a recovery run and gets sent off and he put his arms up in the air?
This is what I was about to say. He's probably got more recovery tackles than normal tackles.
and like to me the point of view of defending, if you always have to make a last ditch tackle, that's not good defending. That just tells me that you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, don't take nothing away. I have Sergio Ramos as a top 5 defender of all time of everything he's won and what he's done. But
right.
If you see some videos of him, there's some horrible videos of him getting ripped by Messi, Henry, and it's not even like ones where it was great defending. It was just him lunging in. At times, he didn't read the game that well. That's just my take. Sergio Ramos, the overall defender, I don't think he was that great.
I think you make a good point. I mean, it's definitely a more hot take if you just say Sergio Ramos wasn't good, full stop. But I know that's not your opinion. I think from what you've said, I've got to be honest, James, I do agree with you. But to me, with a player like Ramos, you do take the rough with the smooth. You take the last-minute winners, the leadership, the cojones that we have from a player like Sergio Ramos.
Let's go. It's all great, but he also have that screw loose that just to be a top defender shouldn't have, and he gets caught out so many times, Jack.
100%. He potentially would have been better placed as like kind of an all-action midfielder, or maybe he should have stayed at fullback. Who knows? My third and final one, and again, this one's a little weak. I'll be honest with you. I couldn't really think of too many like truly hot takes, because I think James and I, we try and be as fair and unbiased as we can. And James and I do actually agree on a hell of a lot. What we try and do on this channel is find the stuff that we do disagree with about and just have open and honest conversations. For me, I'm going back to the well for the 1,000,001th time. Environment, in my opinion, is a bigger determinator of success than talent. I feel as though a lot of the time we give a lot of people credit where they are in a position where they are already set up to succeed. Now, again, this is something James has probably heard 100,000 times. I'm surprised his ears aren't bleeding right now because he's hearing it for the millionth time from me. But in my opinion, I look at a lot of the greats over the years. It's been one of my criticisms of Lionel Messi. It's been one of my criticisms of Pep Guardiola over the years as well. Anybody who's had top level success, but never experienced that middle ground or that lower ground where they've had to do it somewhere where it's difficult to do it, they're never going to get my full respect. Now, as much as I want to give people credit here, there, and everywhere, Pep Guardiola, for me, will never be regarded as one of the top level, like up there with the very best, until we see him do something with a team that should not win the league every single year. I look at Barcelona, I look at Bayern Munich, I look at Man City. Now, this is just one example. It's the same I find with Messi and PSG. I feel somewhat vindicated that Lionel Messi, the greatest of all time, has won one Copa America with Argentina in a competition where they should really be at least the second best team going in every year. We see all the success at Barcelona, where again, it's set up nicely for him. Is he going to have the same success at PSG, maybe a Champions League? Who knows? I like seeing when people can do it without the success. My kind of current day example, I look at somebody like Conor Gallagher at Crystal Palace. That's my young player of the season. That's also my signing of the season. If you can do what he's done at a team like Crystal Palace, I give that so much more credit than if you're flourishing at a team like Liverpool, Manchester City, etc., etc. But again, James has heard me say this a million times, so I'm going to shut up, and so have you guys. So
usually, I do have a clap back to that, but I'm going to leave that with you guys. I want you to, it's a.
Let
Jack,
me have it.
Jack, you said that was a weak one. I don't think that was weak. I think my last one's weak, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
My last one is modern day fullbacks are completely and utterly overrated. We overreact to these modern day fullbacks.
That is a hot take.
We overreact to these modern day fullbacks like João Cancelo, like Andy Robertson, like Trent Alexander-Arnold, and act like we've never seen anything like this ever. Like, what's called again? They're rechanging the game. What? Wasn't Roberto Carlos not running down the line, putting in crosses and doing all this type of stuff before? Do we not see Philip Lahm, in my opinion, the greatest right back I've ever seen? Cafu, for instance, the freaking inverted fullback. There was a time when come to the end of Philip Lahm's career where he became a center midfielder for a Pep Guardiola team, and even
on Arisa, Kolarov. There's some even current, not current, but more recent examples where, yeah, I agree with you, man.
We act like this is the greatest generation of fullbacks we've ever seen, and I'm not gonna lie, I call the biggest cap I've ever seen in my life. Marcelo, I've seen 10 times better fullbacks than what we've seen today. João Cancelo, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, whatever you guys want to say. They're all great. They're all good. They're all great. But I've seen better fullbacks in the past, and that's just my take.
The only thing I will say to counter that ever so slightly, because on the most part I do tend to agree with you, it's the first time I think we are looking at fullbacks
in the Premier League.
In the Premier League.
In the Premier League, get this right, because Marcelo was putting in, I don't know how many assists Marcelo got for Cristiano Ronaldo coming to the end of his career, putting in crosses.
Buddy.
This is what I'm saying. I don't want to hear this, Jack. No.
James, Dani Alves at Barcelona was I think on average the highest forward player in most games. I think he had the highest average position. So yeah, I hear you, but
Jordi Alba, Jack, go on.
No, just it's the first time I think that when we're looking at a player being signed, especially for a bigger team in the fullback position, we want to know what the offensive output is before the defensive. I think that is something that has changed recently, which is why they are starting to get more notoriety, more respect. And yeah, of course, you can't have a tandem like Robertson and Trent without talking about it a little more. My love for somebody like a Achraf Hakimi, just for example, a Leandro Spinazzola, Florenzi, these types of guys. So I'm 50-50 with you, with you on that. But yeah.
But guys, all right, those are our 3 takes right there. It's been a rough one. I know some people are cringing about the box the screen. Comment down below. Let us hear your controversial takes, and if you disagree with us, please let us know, guys. This is Box to Box Football. We will be back with another one of these. If the video does do well, we will be back with a part 2. Comment down below, guys, and we will see you. So also hit that subscribe button, and we will see you next time.